One of the things that Carolyn's going to talk to us about today is how to age gracefully. You'll see on our Lunch with the KGB page that Carolyn's released an article that was written and published in an actual magazine, and there's some lovely tips in there on how to address your skincare needs. So I'm going to hand over to Carolyn and let her fill our heads up with beauty tips to get us looking fantastic for our Christmas photos.
Oh, good. It's a small article, but it's got some good triggers on there.
I like the colour right one. I think it's really important to use those colours to magnify your natural beauty.
Yeah, that's a very important starting point. Women, I think, really enjoy talking about this kind of thing because at the end of the day, it's how we can better ourselves. And there might be the skeptics out there, for people that perhaps don't like to use much makeup or any makeup. And it's not just about makeup. It's about skincare, even before putting a product on our face. The starting point is what goes into our bodies. And we actually, Melissa, you and I connect up with that. So before you open up your makeup bag, there's not much point pulling out really expensive products and putting them onto skin that is dehydrated. You need to really look after yourself long term and on a daily basis. The makeup at the end is the nice finishing touch. It's the cherry on top, so to speak.
So, Carolyn, that would go under a lot of what I talk about is maintaining yourself first. I know when I eat healthy and drink plenty of fluids through the day that my skin's quite vibrant. I have been told that you have that radiant sense of health.
I remember 20 years ago reading something and passing this information on to a friend of mine who I was her bridesmaid, and the morning of the wedding she wanted to kill time. She was very nervous and I said, we're going to go for a walk. It's going to free your mind, it's going to calm the nerves, and it's going to put a very natural glow in your cheeks. And it's going to get everything moving. You don't just do the exercise on the day. And it probably wasn't about exercise as much as the whole breathing, the fresh air, Jo, like you were talking about the benefits of outdoor exercise.
And being focused on there's bigger things happening than just this wedding.
Yeah, that's right. Makeup is, as I keep saying, is the end part of the process, but it's what leads up to that. And we're talking about Christmas time. We probably eat more than we normally do. There are more events on. We drink more alcohol than we normally do. And the weather is warmer. So we're more likely to dehydrate than we would perhaps in winter. And we're busier, so we don't think about drinking water until we've got a headache.
That's right.
If you find yourself or someone else who's got themselves to that state of dehydration and a bit of neglect, pull on the skin, touch the skin, and it'll all be there. So that's where the telltale signs are. So before perhaps delving into the makeup, that's what we really should address is our water intake. So good old 6 to 8 glasses. That doesn't include tea or coffee. It doesn't include cordial, and it doesn't include sparkling water. So we've got sodium in sparkling water, so it needs to be good old water out of the tap. If you can fit in 8, that's the goal, and not 8 at once, because all you'll do is make your kidneys work extra hard and you don't reap the benefits. So this is stretched out over the day. I find you can knock 1 glass of water over as soon as you wake up. Perhaps if you take it to bed and you don't drink it, before you throw your legs over the side of the bed, finish it. And that's the best time, because getting back to what you were saying, Melissa, about that time when you go to sleep, so perhaps if you've stopped eating by 6 or 7 o'clock, and that time that your body has that fasting time to restore itself and to burn the energy rather than be burning a 10 p.m. dinner. So that period, if your system's empty and you're just drinking water, the benefits of the water, they increase in their value. And that water first thing in the morning increases because your whole digestive system has had a chance to rest.
Absolutely. So having the glass of water first thing in the morning, that sets you up for the day. You're already 1 step ahead or 1 glass ahead if you want to say that.
So it's 1 down.
Yeah.
7 to go.
Where you were saying it the night before, and one of the things which I forgot to say was by not going to bed with a full belly of food, it gives your body, so for example, instead of the blood all rushing to digest that food in your belly, it's actually going to go to all the organs and the skin and help heal the day and help heal your muscles and your skin, and so all the energy and blood can go and do that.
Yeah, I really enjoy my glass of water at the end of the day. Once I've brushed my teeth, I have a nice glass of water and I think, oh, that was just wonderful. There's a quote out there called drink water like it's your job, and I need to put that on my fridge. I need to put that on the milk, because I often go for a cup of tea instead of a glass of water. I should say, oh, I've got a job to do here.
And it is. That's how you
That's
need
what
to
you
look
do.
at it.
You remind yourself with reminders, and when you go to a restaurant, there's often water, especially in summer. You just take advantage of that complimentary jug of water and have a glass of water while you wait for your lunch.
So really taking care of our skin from the inside out. So we're working our way out gradually. Sun protection factor, which has to be 15 plus, there's kind of not much point going in for that SPF 8. It's nice to have a little bit there, but we can't rest on that. It's just not enough. Now, the first parts of our body that show aging are our face, the area, our neck, and that area that seems to be exposed even when we don't realise. So we have a V-neck T-shirt or a round T-shirt. It's that area, the high chest area. That's just as important as the face and the backs of our hands. So they're the parts that aren't covered. And if you really want to know or have a guess at how old someone is, and perhaps they may have taken great care of their face all their life, but they've neglected their hands, they've neglected that area.
The décolletage or something like
That's
that?
right, yeah, that area. It's kind of like looking fantastic in a suit rocking up to an interview, but having forgotten to polish your shoes.
Yeah, you can put a necklace over it.
Yeah, it's the bit, it's sweeping under the mat. It's worrying about all the things that you think are visible and not worrying about the other parts.
Yeah.
But that's the telltale sign. So that's really good old moisturising as far as your hands go at night, and just moisturising all that area.
It's not just all about the ageing process too. Skin cancers are high risk in Australia. So by creating that habit, you're also protecting yourself from skin cancer.
For sure. Yeah. And in all honesty, that's the most important part. But it's just that you reap extra benefits, not only looking after your health, but you're looking after the condition of your skin, which can dry out really quickly. And I think we kind of think that happens in summer, but winter is the driest time of the year. There's nothing in the atmosphere. For me, that's the time I find in winter, you've got to smile and my face feels like it can crack if I haven't put enough moisturiser on. So if you want to do a test on your skin, basically you're looking at the amount of elastin, feeling comfortable within your skin, and you know your skin better than anyone else. So what that feels like to be wearing it. So you'll know when it's a bit tighter and drier than other times, but just pushing on it. And also the look. One thing that's really important is to exfoliate. Not too much, because then you can damage your skin. I'd suggest about twice a week. Spread it out every 3 to 4 days. There are lots of products on the market. I'm not a great advocate of really expensive products. A lot of people will say to me, what's the best brand? Or I use a lot of different brands. When I was working as a makeup artist, there'd be a range of products in my kit. Companies change, the quality of their products change over time, so you need to be constantly reviewing that. But I think rather than focusing on the product itself, you need to focus on the need. What is it that I'm trying to achieve? I'm buying a product to address that need. So as far as skincare goes, over time I've used a number of products, probably middle line. I've favoured Clarins. Then as time's gone on, I've really questioned. You get older and wiser, I guess, a bit more sceptical, and I've thought, what about the supermarket lines? Oil of Olay is something I remember being in my mother's cupboard.
My mother-in-law uses Oil of Olay. Olay.
Yeah, they've changed the name over time. I think just poke around a bit, have a bit of an experiment. And sometimes you can use too much on your face. It might be a bit rich. Certain times of the year might be different for you, again, in summer and winter. So it's just keeping on top of what your skin really needs.
My daughter's 12 and she's coming into needing skincare products, yet I'm 30 plus. Obviously, we need different things for our skin. Hers being so young, but she's starting to get some blackheads and being conscious of her skin and coming into puberty. So what are some tips around girls coming into needing skincare?
Yeah, sure. And their skincare is slightly different to ours, but to create good habits early on is then you're not thinking about it. That organising yourself before you jump into bed is a habit rather than some kind of hindrance. A lot of what teenagers go through and preteens, what they're experiencing on their face is more to do with hormones than anything else. It's the change in hormones. And you've got extreme cases where medication is required. And it is important that people pursue that path, because otherwise children can end up with permanent scarring. And the medication is harsh and it's controversial and whatnot. So that's one extreme end of it. The best thing, I think, with girls and boys, not to forget boys for sure, and I think they sometimes suffer
just as much,
if not sometimes, worse.
My brother did,
Yeah. And girls try to cover up their acne or their pimples with makeup, which it really doesn't cover anything. And
it probably doesn't help.
No, it just fills pores that are open with extra grease and whatnot. The first port of call really is keeping the skin clean. Having said that, you'll see a lot of products advise morning and night, which is okay as long as it's gentle. If you were cleaning once a day, I would say once at the end of the day. Overstimulation of skin can produce excess oil, so that creates a problem in itself. So people get a bit cleaning crazy and teenagers become paranoid, so they're over cleaning.
Yeah.
So they're cleaning too often and they're too rough. So really, in the morning when you wake up, if you've cleaned the night before, nothing's happened. You've slept. Now, this is for teenagers or for adults. In the morning, you might like to splash your face with some cool water. Cold water will close pores and warm water opens them up. And you want them closed unless you're cleaning your face. And by having them closed during the day, you're keeping out the dust and the grease. So, give it a nice splash in the morning. But before you go to bed, a nice, gentle, clean with. Now, this is where probably it's important to decide and experiment with what they're using. Keep soap away from the face. And I'm a bit of a fan of non-soap products that don't have surfactant in them. So you've got QV, and those alternatives, you can buy them in a pump. They become, if you buy the larger bottles, they're quite economical. There are a lot of products on the market for teenagers. I don't know how necessary a lot of them are. So keeping a clean face, keeping their hands, encouraging them to keep their hands away from their face during the day. Stop touching. Don't squeeze pimples. I know it's really tempting. But the dirty fingers going on the face and that T-zone, so across the forehead, down the nose and on the chin, that's a problem area because our pores are the biggest there. So the area around the eye, we don't have any pores. So our skin becomes finer as it moves on towards the outer part of our face. So we need most of the cleaning in that T-zone in the middle, but just keep away from the excessive cleaning. There are some products. I'll say that I'm not totally up to date on products for teenage skin. I think a lot of the ones that were around when we were kids are probably still there and they've advanced in their formulas. But I think that putting the right thing first, so the care first, and then also the water. The water plays a large part. And also informing kids that there is only so much they can do. So they don't go into this state of, I haven't done it right. I'm not up to par with my routine, so that's why I'm suffering, because then they reach a point where, have you looked around yourself, sweetheart, because you're not the only one.
And back to what we were speaking about today too, giving the kids permission to set themselves up a ritual for looking after themselves. Like there's a little spot of the day where you are going to look after just you because you matter, your skin matters. It's been a really good conversation.
Just going in with your healthy eating and the young kids as well. So that's what they don't realise. They're coming into puberty and eating a lot of junk food, and you see 14, 16-year-olds down the street drinking 1.25 litre of Coke, and you think, oh, your skin and your body, and what are you doing to it? But it's about educating them. At the end of the day, it's their choice.
Well, hopefully the young people are listening to the radio show today and also that they're getting this sort of education at school. I think there's home economics classes at school, and there's certainly a lot of TV shows out there talking about healthy choices. And at the end of the day, it's all a choice, isn't it? We make the choice to look after ourselves, or we make the choice to clean our office space up, or we make the choice to get some coaching. We make the choice to struggle along. It all comes down to choice, doesn't it?